Okay, well, my name is Radha, and I am actually a doula, so that's what I do. I help women in childbirth. So then I have two children. One is almost 10 and one is 7. Yeah, my son, Aditya, he is autistic. So he was diagnosed when he was about 2.5. So he we sort of suspected for a long time that there was something, developmentally, not right. So we waited until we were very sure that there was something to approach and, request an evaluation. In hindsight, we realized we had sort of that classic first year was very easy, and then suddenly we started to see a lot of issues. After he turned a year old, he wasn't making much eye contact, and I even at first thought that he might have a hearing problem or something, but that wasn't it. And then things that should have been getting easier were not. He was screaming a lot for very minor things, and he couldn't handle even the slightest deviation from routine. He couldn't handle a lot of noise. Everything had to be a certain way, very ritualistic. That's what we were seeing. And, things that other kids would take in their stride were just a bit too much for him, So we since we have an older child, we sort of sat and we thought about it, and we said, things should be getting easier for us. We know the baby and toddler years are crazy, but it's, a bit out of the norm, a bit more than what we expect to see. So we, I don't think we even realized that it was so chaotic. And one day I told my husband that you need to take him out because I can't even think, he screams all day long. So my husband took him out for a few hours, and I sat and Googled, and I looked at some of the symptoms, and then I said, oh, maybe, because I had been thinking maybe it was autism. So that's kind of how we started. And at first, my husband was quite upset by me saying maybe this might be it. He didn't like the idea. But, it was becoming increasingly clear that there was a problem. So that's... We actually requested an evaluation for him. And then when we took him for the evaluation, it was almost, just sort of the pieces all fell into place. He was screaming the place down. He was banging on the door trying to get out and didn't play with any of the toys that they had set up for him. And actually I found out later that my husband had actually only requested a speech evaluation because he was not happy to contemplate anything further, So when they said, the panel of people said that we would be very remiss if we didn't suggest an autism evaluation, can we do that? And we said yes, because he, it was clear that there were so many issues and not just speech. So, and they couldn't come to the house to do the evaluation because he couldn't handle, back then he couldn't handle even new people coming to the house. It was such a big deal for him. So we had to do it in his daycare. So, each person took turns to go so as not to overwhelm him. And they spent, I think, a month or 2 months finishing the evaluation because they had to only do a bit at a time. He was so upset to even be corralled in one space for them to observe him. And he just wanted to be left alone. I think it was when I read their report, they sent it to us, and I read it and I said, okay, I'm not that surprised, I wasn't surprised by their conclusions because, in a way, we are seeing him every day, so it was so obvious, But then actually seeing it in writing, it was upsetting. And then you cannot hide from all these demons that you've been trying to bat away for a long time. You can't pretend anymore that it's not happening. I think my husband is better at compartmentalizing. I, of course, went through the mom guilt. Did I do something to cause it, Even though logically your brain knows that it is what it is, emotionally you cannot help saying, did I do something? Maybe in pregnancy, who knows? Did I neglect something? It's very hard to not feel those things, but it doesn't help him. So I tried not to wallow in those feelings.